Other members, my name is Juan, I'm alcoholic. Yeah, I really tried not to do this, tried to get out of this more than once, and unfortunately, whatever, I couldn't. And here I am. So yeah. So I was born into a loving family, lots of love, lots of care, never wanted for anything. But only one thing about that, my mother was only 16 years old when she had me. So for the first few years of my life, we weren't like a family, mom, dad, and myself together. No, I was raised by my grandparents for the first few years of my life. My dad was always around. But we didn't stay in the same house. So from a young age, I was afraid of my dad. He's a police officer. He's full of shit, like me, I guess. But yeah, I was always had this fear around my father, and I've never felt comfortable around him, and I never wanted to be like him. I remember since I was young, I never wanted to be like my father, and today I'm exactly like my dad. When I look at it, I'm exactly like him, and I'm proud to be like him. I mean, yeah, I love my dad. He's always provided for us. He's a tough man. He's a hard human being, but yeah, we get on with it. So yeah, for the first few years, lived with my grandparents, and had got a lot of love. Always got what I wanted. I was spoiled, first grandchild. So yeah, just got a lot of love. And then I remember my mom and dad getting married, and we moved into our own little place together, and things were okay. My mom and dad fought a lot. My dad drank a lot, and that just became like a routine. On weekends he would drink, come home, they would fight. And it would get physical, it would get bad. I would get in between them, and I would always be there, like around my mother, protecting her in some form or another. And that's when the resentment towards my father started building, slowly but surely. The things that I saw, no child could see, and unfortunately, what I saw my parents go through, my daughter saw with me and my ex-partner go through. So, yeah, that's just the way it is, I guess. But I can change that now. So yeah, my dad and them got married, we lived together, and then my mom told me that I was getting a brother, and a lot of children would be like, yeah, cool, young little brother. I wasn't like that. I was like, but why? Am I not enough for you guys? So it was a little bit of jealousy around that whole situation. I wanted to be, because I knew now that all the attention wasn't going to be on me. I had to share everything, and I was about 7 years old when my brother was born, so there was a big gap between us, so we were never really close up until now. Only we started to build that relationship for brother to provide, because I was never really any role model to my brother, nothing that he could look up to, and today luckily I am. So yeah, on to school. I went to school. I never really felt like different or afraid or fear, just went on with things. And academically, I wasn't really into that type of thing. I went to school mainly for friends, girls, sport. That was my thing. That was what I did in school. Like academically, I would never study for anything. I would never apply myself. I remember when I was a child, everybody would like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And like, this one would be a police officer, this one would be I just wanted to have fun. That was me. Always the life of the party. Just wanted to have fun, play, and since I was young, I've always been one to move around a little bit. I was a little bit busy. I'm a busy child, and they tried to put me on Ritalin, and the only reason why I didn't stay on it is because it made me aggressive. It made me feel not like a lot of people like use it and say no, it makes them feel good. They said to me, it didn't work like that. It made me aggressive, so I stopped using that. First time I started drinking was in the age of 12 years old. House parties was the norm, and basically I just wanted to fit in. I wanted to be one of the cool guys that also drank. And a lot of times I hear people say the reason they drank and they used is because of fear, of not belonging, of all these things. The reason I did it is because I liked the way it made me feel. I did it and I felt amazing, even though after drinking I would have bubble or whatever, it doesn't matter. That feeling that it gave me, I enjoyed, and that's what I went after. Because the way I lived my life was, I just wanted to party. I never knew when to stop. I never knew when enough would be enough. And that's the thing that I've always been struggling with, is balance in my life. I would either overdo things or I wouldn't do it at all. There's no in between for me. So it's either overdo it or nothing at all. And that's how it's been my whole life, man. School, I went to high school. By then I was almost drinking every weekend, so my drinking, it was blackout drinking from a very young age. I would drink until you black out, throw up, pass out. That was the norm. That was, if you don't drink like that, what's the point of drinking, I guess. Just before I went to standard 6, that after that like vacation we had, I went clubbing for the first time at the age of 13. Like, I always started with everything young in my life. I would spoil it, I guess, for the remaining years of my life, but I would always go do everything at a young age. So I started clubbing at the age of 13. Luckily I was tall and I had those buffaloes platforms so I could get in. So yeah, that's what I did. And then very, very fast, my disease progressed into using drugs. A lot of people talk about them being fearful or the first time was scary for them. I was excited. I couldn't wait to put the stuff down my throat. Couldn't wait. I was just excited because that was the way I lived my life. Exciting, fearless. Didn't think before I did anything. I just went full steam ahead in life. Not even thinking about consequences. Who cares about consequences? As long as I'm having fun. That's just the way I was. So and the problem is with using drugs in high school is you don't get a salary. Nobody works, your friends don't work for money, so you have to go to school, and with that, with the need to feed my addiction, I started doing things that I shouldn't have, like would work in the tuck shop at school so that I could steal money. I would steal money from my girlfriend's parents, I would steal money from my parents. That's how it started for me. I would just start stealing in school because I needed to use. That was my thing. And it quickly went from every weekend using to every now and then in the week as well, to almost everyday thing. And eventually I couldn't do anything without using. I couldn't go to school, I couldn't go play sport, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that without using first. When I used, I could do anything. Like I felt I could take on the world. It made me smarter, faster, stronger, made me feel like I belonged. And so yes, my school days, it was a mess. I never cared about who knew that I used or who didn't know. It was just everybody knew. I was the one to go to make a plan. If there was a party or whatever, I was the one to go to. Because I was always at a plan. Because that's how it was for me. Like, I would have drugs, and as soon as my drugs were almost finished, I would start worrying about the next plan, the next mission, because I can't enjoy what I've got now and just be happy for a while. No, I'll be happy, and then the worry would start kicking in, like, yes, what's the next plan? What are we going to do? And it always seemed like the people around me or that was using with me wasn't like me, or they didn't care as much about next plan, next this, where we're going to afterwards. It was just enjoy the time that you enjoy now and here now. And I was like, what about later? What are we going to do later? This thing is finished, I'm finished. I can't do it. That's not how I am. I need more. So yeah, stealing became the norm for me. I remember the first time I got locked up was at the age of 18. I just turned 18. It was for my grandfather's birthday. By then I already left school. I didn't finish school because just before that, let me backtrack here. Just before leaving school, I didn't finish because I needed to go to rehab. Of course, that's what addicts do, isn't it? Get caught, go to rehab. I didn't go to rehab to get better, of course. I just going to rehab because I got caught and I needed the heat off of me from my parents. And yeah, that's a normal thing to do, I guess, for a drug addict. Use drugs, get caught, go to rehab, continue with your life when you get out there. Oh, of course, and get a girlfriend in rehab because that's what we do, isn't it? We made for each other. Both addicts was what? Yeah, crazy girl. But so I went to rehab at the age of 17. I turned 18 in rehab, and I didn't stay clean for long. My intention wasn't to get clean; it was just to get the heat off of me, and that was my cycle for a very long time. I went to a lot of rehab, and I never went there with the intention to get clean. So I never went because I had enough. Always because of the law, my parents, my work, and that was it. Always a reason for me going. Never, I want that enough is enough. So yeah, I went to rehab, met a girl in there. We were together for a long time, about a year afterwards, but as all things, it didn't last. With all my relationships, it didn't last because I would never put them first in my life. The number one thing in my life was drugs. and partying. That was number one for me. It was that, and then whatever came with it would give. I mean, lekker. And I thought I loved him, but I don't think it was really love. It was more of me not liking, wanting to be alone. And in my first few serious relationships, it was with people who didn't use. Like she stopped using after the rehab, and then eventually I got her to use a little bit, and then it just didn't work because I used too much apparently. She couldn't handle me for some reason, because I don't know. But yeah, that's how all my relationships ended. Drugs were more important than whoever I was with or whatever I was doing. That was my main go-to thing. And everything that went around that was dishonesty, stealing, manipulation, lying, cheating. Doesn't matter. It was just a mess. And that's how all my relationships ended. At the end of the day, it was in a mess. Me crying and screaming and threatening to kill myself and just feeling like it's the end of the world. But in actual fact, it was good for them. I'm glad that they got out of it, because I was a mess. I was a disaster. And I would have probably just destroyed their lives further. And eventually, my relationships, I got them, like I would know if somebody was using, then I would get into a relationship with them because it was easier for me. It suited me. I didn't have to hide the fact that I was using. It was easier that way. And we both would use. But then again, it also got expensive because now I have to supply to 2 people. So I was like, jeez, when was the situation? No, not really. It got difficult for me. I use a lot now. The person that I'm using with is using just as much. So it got hectic. Crime got more. Just the way it was. Let me get back to the first time I got locked up. It was my grandfather's birthday. And I was working for him at the time after rehab. Still using, didn't stop. And I remember I had money to buy him something, because I would always, with everybody, my mom, it doesn't matter who's, either birthday, Christmases, that's just how I operated. I would have money to buy them something, or I would make plans for money to buy them something, but in fact, instead of buying them a present, I would go buy drugs, have the courage to go shoplift, and that's just what I did. I would shoplift them presents. And I got confident because I got away with it. And unfortunately, there's a few times that I slipped up, and I got caught. First time I got locked up, I phoned my grandfather on his birthday, listen, please come bail me out. And there he came. I spoiled his birthday, as usual. Came, he bailed me out, and the next day we went to court without telling my mom and dad about it, because I was afraid. I didn't want them to know, and he covered for me. We went to court, and I paid a fine, got a criminal record, and that was the start of my runnings with the law, and it didn't stop there. I was like, while I was in the cells and everything, I was afraid and was like, please, God, please help me get out of this. I will never do this again. But of course, that was a lie. I constantly went and did the same thing over and over and over. And crime became my norm. Crime became my thing. A lot of people talk about how the using stopped working for them. And eventually it did for me as well. The drugs got worse. From pills to powders to whatever. That's what I did. I did anything, didn't care. And the using didn't work for me anymore, up until a point where I would either have to go into rehab so I could get a little bit of clean time, so that when I get out I could use and feel again, or it got so bad that I would use for a whole 24 hours, not sleep, and then only on the second day, or only after going on a mission or doing crime or whatever, I would get that high again, and then I would be back in action. And I wouldn't use for like 1 or 2 or 3 days and then sleep. I would just use until I crash completely, like 6-7 days, crash for a day or 2, get up, same story. Because after waking up after using so long, I would be miserable. I would not want to do anything, just sleep, eat, leave me alone until I use again, and then I would be normal again. And that's no way to live life, man. It's no way to live life, and it's exhausting. And obviously, not going to get anywhere in life like that. So yeah, that's just the way I've lived my life. Horrible. So yeah, my run-ins with the law got worse as usual. I was under house arrest twice. I've got so much stuff against my name, I don't even know how much or what. I just know I've been under house arrest twice. I've got away with things that I shouldn't have, more than I can count. I don't know if it's my higher power or me just being lucky or what it is, but yeah, I've gotten out of a lot of things in my life. And it's cost my parents a lot of money, because that's what I do. I'd get into trouble, get locked up or get into a situation and then immediately phone my mother, because I know she would always be there for me and always try her best to help me. Doesn't matter what I do. My dad got quite full of me. He was just like, no, leave him. He kicked me out a few times, and then my mother would always want me back in the house or want me back or just help me, and that caused problems between herself and my father. And I didn't care. I knew it was causing problems, and then I would play them up against each other because I knew I could always manipulate my mother because I was a favorite of my child. She chose to have me, so that's what she needs to do for me. I didn't make myself. You guys made me. It was your fault. Always blamed everybody else for what I was doing, what I was getting up to. And like I said in the beginning, the truth is I didn't use because my mom and dad had problems because of this. I used because I enjoyed the way it made me feel. I was a party animal, and that went to, the drugs went well with the party scene. So that's what I did. And all in between all this, I went to 7 different rehabs, 7 different treatment centers. And in between all the madness, there was one girl that I was obsessed over. She was in a relationship, and eventually I tried to kind of won her over. Got away from the guy that she was with, and I was obsessed. I was madly in love with this girl. We got together, and I don't know, through all craziness, somehow we broke up, and it was like the end of the world to me. I was crushed. I was broken, like completely finished. I would use for days on end and just still not be happy, and drugs made me happy. I won't lie, it made me happy. And after my heart was broken, I used for no reason. I didn't even feel I used, but I would just still be an empty vessel, I guess. And then we'd get back together, and then everything would be lovely again. And so it went back and forth, like ridiculous breakup. We get together, she would go back to her ex-guy, and the guy would want to kill me because obviously they were just the way it was. And then I went to rehab again for 9 months. I went there for 6 months first, and then I went out for a weekend, and of course I used because, well, the plan wasn't to get better. The plan was to get pressure off of me, as I usually do. Family were on my back and laws on me, so I went to rehab as usual. That's what I do. And after 6 months, I went home for the weekend. I went back to rehab, got away with the test. Luckily, I don't know how I got away with it, but they tested me, came out clean. Stayed another extra 3 months. Why? I don't know. I said, okay, no, listen, I want to stay another 3 months. I don't know, I was probably just bullshitting myself, but it seemed to work for a while. After that 3 months, I did that 9 months in the treatment center, and after that, I stayed clean for a while, or clean off the drug of my choice. Not clean off of I still went back to Zol because that's what I did. That was not a problem for me, I thought. I would smoke Zol and then I would chill. That's what I did. I didn't go out and do crime if I smoked Zol, so Zol wasn't a problem. I didn't use my drug of choice, so I was fine. I was clean. But obviously it was bullshit. So this girl and myself made her pregnant. We've got a beautiful daughter. She's 3 years old, and I was clean for the first 6 months of her life. I didn't even smoke Zol then. I left everything. I was like, no, I need to be a father to my daughter, and I thought I was a good dad. I always believed that I was a good father, and up until I got into treatment, where my sponsor told me, "You're a horrible father," and I was like angry, shocked, blown away. How can you say this to me? I was always around, but in actual fact, I wasn't. When I started using again, I would smoke my drug of choice in the same room as her. I would mostly give her to my parents and grandparents, like, please just look after her tonight. We just want to go do something, because in all my badness, another thing that became a problem for me was gambling as well. So it was crime, gambling, drugs, booze, all just went hand in hand. So yeah, I would leave her with the grandparents most of the night, and I would go out and I would go do my thing. Me and my partner, we would just go do our thing, and then the next day we would just be at home, look after my child. And it was just not what parents do. It was crazy, man. Really, I spoiled my first experience of my child, but I guess I can change it now. So, my drugging continued, my using got worse as it usually does, and I thought it couldn't get worse than it did, but it did. It just got worse, like up to a point where I didn't feel anymore. I didn't love anymore. I just didn't care about anything or anybody. I didn't care about my appearance, was shocked. I just wanted to use, bro. That obsession got so bad that that's all I cared about. I would leave my partner and my child at home, and I would just go out with my friends, go committing crimes and doing what I wanted to do, and then go home the next day with drugs in my hand and be like, look, this is what I was doing. Please don't be mad at me. I'm supplying drugs for you. How can you be angry at me? How else are we supposed to do this? And then my obsession towards her completely went away, and then it changed. She became obsessed with me now. And it's just like crazy, the obsession thing. It's not love. It's just bad, man. Right, so just before I came into treatment this time, last year I was in a treatment center for 3 months because just before I went in there again, I went and stole a gun. And I was out in the streets, and then when I just came home quickly to change clothes, could take a shower and go out again, and then my grandmother came there and said, please let me take you to treatment, because she showed me a thing on Facebook where some cop posted on Facebook that they were looking for me. Does anybody know this person? And there's a shot of my face there, and I knew what I was doing that day, so I was like, shit, got a fright. Once again said, okay, cool, now I'm ready to go to treatment, because again, people were looking for me, so I went to treatment. That's what I do, man. Get into trouble, go into treatment. Went to treatment for 3 months, didn't help. Knowing that while sitting in there talking to the people that are in there, planning how we're going to use together, and it was just not serious, didn't take life seriously, but I just wanted to use, that's all I wanted to do, waiting, counting the days for me to get back to uni. Got out of there, and then it didn't last long. I think in a time of 3-4 months, I got arrested. I don't know how many times. I got 3 cases against me, which I've also got a few 5-year suspended sentences against me, so I was in the shit streak. I was really in trouble. I was looking anything between 5 to 10 year jail time, really real jail time, and I didn't really understand. I didn't really care. Most of the time I was out of it, so I didn't really care about that. But luckily my parents did care. As usual, as they all do, they worry about us, and they went to the head prosecutor, and they arranged to have me sectioned. And that's how I ended up at CDES, man. I got sectioned for a year, which is again a blessing, because I was looking at anything, like I said, from 5 to 10 year jail sentence, or 1 year at treatment. So I was very glad to go to treatment, right? Like 5-star year, 0-star jail. What's obvious? Right? Went to treatment. That's what I do. Of course, not wanting to stop, I just went to treatment because the cops were on me, just to get the cases off of me and then continue with what I was doing. Went to treatment, and hung out with the faulty people, because faulty wants faulty, that's how it is. Didn't really want to stop. For the first month or 2, I remember that I was just not enjoying it at all, hating life, just wanting to get back out there. Making plans to use, making plans to go get Zol, stuff like that, stupid, man. And then for some other reason, something changed for me while I was in treatment. Must be because of one thing and one thing only, that's concern groups, bro. That changed everything for me. I had a chance to look at myself. I think it was a period of 2 months that every group that was held, I got concerned. And I couldn't understand it. I was like, here I am, I'm not using, so my problem is the using, my problem is drugs. Here I am, sober, and still getting into trouble. And I didn't like the person that I was. I didn't like the things that they were saying to me because it was true. I didn't like the person that I was. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy being the arsehole anymore. All these character defects came out, and I saw who I am, who I was. And I didn't like that, bro. I didn't like that at all. So that changed me. That changed my life. Those concern groups will change your life. If anything, that changed my life. And I saw who I became. I saw who I was. And I didn't like that person. And the only way to change is by putting in action. And it took, I'm a slow learner, I guess, because week after week, I got pounded in those groups, and I got given my reality, got angry for no reason. The only person I was angry at was myself, I guess, in the end. And still, it took a long while for me to change, bro. It took a long while for me to change. I remember in treatment, not a lot of people got tested for drugs. I got tested because of my behavior. It was shocking. I went out for a weekend, and when I got back, I was sick, and I was just not lacquer. And I remember they had a concern group for me, and my sponsor said, it would actually be better if you used, because your behavior is so shocking that it's crazy. So he actually wanted me to rather have used, and I was like, how can this say this to me? Here I am, clean, and now my sponsor's telling me he wants me to rather have used. I was like, fuck, I'll fire this oak. And that's also the thing I wanted to do so many times, is fire my sponsor, because I couldn't manipulate him. I couldn't work him the way I wanted to. I didn't get the answers that I wanted to. He saw right through my bullshit from the start, and I'm thankful for that. I thank him for not being soft on me, because I needed somebody hard on me, because I would always manipulate anybody around me. That's what I did. It's my go-to thing, and I would work them, and I was just an arsehole, basically. So yeah, in treatment, there was twice in treatment that I found drugs. Once I was on the long walk, picked up drugs. I remember I went to Reese over there, and I was like, Jesus, what do I do with this? And I knew by then that something's changed in me, because I would never say no to weed. It was my thing. It's what I did. So he just told me, no, just throw it away, and I threw it away. Second time was when my buddy went through his things, and he also found the drug of my choice, actually, and they came to me, and I was like, Jesus, okay. And again, I took it to the guy that was working at the treatment center at the time, and I was proud of myself, because all the time that I held that stuff in my hand, I was just thinking of one thing, and that's my daughter. I didn't care about how that would make me feel or anything else. I was just thinking about my daughter at that point, and how long I've been away. I saw my daughter 3 times in a year this last year. I've only seen her 3 times, and it's been hard for me. It's been hard for me, but those 3 times I've seen her this last year has been more real than the whole 3 years that I've spent with her in her whole life, because I was there, but I wasn't there. And things have changed for me now, and it's all thanks to the treatment center, man. Again, I was there for 7 months. I left treatment, went to the halfway house, and that's not where my journey stopped. Again, like, I held on to a dishonesty, because it wasn't my stuff. It was for somebody else. I knew about somebody and somebody doing something, and I was like, it's not my stuff. I don't care. I just know about something. I didn't do anything wrong. I just put it in my mind, I don't care. It's not going to affect me. Don't worry, it won't affect me at all. Mop it under the carpet, man, it's fine. But it caught up with me, and I remember 2nd of August, my sponsor phoning me up, and he was like, listen, Jan, do you know about this? And still I was like humming and hawing, and I pretending like I don't know, but I knew, and I knew exactly what was going to happen after that. So I told him the truth. Listen, Josh, this is what was going on. And he said he was going to phone me later that afternoon. So I went through the day, and then I remember there was a phone call coming through at 3-4 o'clock, told me, listen, yeah, pack your things, somebody's going to come fetch you, coming back to treatment. And I thought, what? Are you joking? And that was a big one for me, because I remember something happened to somebody else, and I was like laughing at them. Oh, look at this, I guess to go back to treatment, didn't even use, and there I am, back in treatment, same story. And I was like, Jesus, this is horrible. But that last month that I went back, that month I got more growth than I got in this previous 7 months, because I was honest. I did what I needed to do. My outlook on life was different, and I knew what the solution was. I knew what to do. It was different for me, and I got a lot of growth in that last month. Really, I did. And I enjoyed my last month, funny enough. The first few days were horrible, but when I got back into the whole thing, it was good. I enjoyed it. Good place to be. So yeah, God finished my treatment again for the second time. Went back to halfway. And to be honest, this is the first time in 7 treatment centers that I've actually gone to the halfway house, and I've loved it there. I've loved every moment of it. Being around guys, it helps, really helps. Always somebody to talk to. Listen, it's not always easy sharing a house with 6 other guys, but it's fun. Always somebody to talk to, always somebody to laugh with, to joke with, and I really enjoyed the halfway house. To be honest, I was sectioned for a year, as you guys know, and now towards the end of my sentence, I went to my sponsor and I was like, you know what, Josh, I think I need to stay longer. And he said he'll get back to me, and he told me, no, it's time for me to go. And I was like, what? I want to go. And firstly, I don't want to be here, then you tell me I need to stay. Now that I want to stay, you tell me I need to go. I'm like, what's going on here, bro? I want to stay longer. And he said, no, bro, it's time for you to move on. So I would have left yesterday already, gone back to, I'm from the East Rand. I would have went back there yesterday already. That's why, but things worked out for me to come share today first. So I'm going back Tuesday morning, and there's 2 job offers there for me, funny enough, which is amazing because with my criminal record and everything that's happened in my life, I've always been handed things, like jobs have always just, everybody's organized jobs for me always, and I've always just screwed it up because drugs are more important than anything else in my life. So yeah, I'm going back to a job which I'm very grateful for. And I'm excited for the first time. I want to go out and just go and get on with my life and be a father to my daughter. I recently broke up with my partner, which I think is the best for me right now, just to get to know myself first, I guess, before I just continue on with another relationship. I need to get to know myself first. So yeah, man, I'm excited for life. I'm excited for what's to come. And it's all thanks to this program, and I've got a new way of life. And I never thought that it would be possible for me to not be using. It was the way I lived life. It was everyday struggle to use. I thought I was going to die using. And here I am today. My biggest blessing for me today is that desire to use has been lifted. That's amazing for me. I don't wake up every day dreading, knowing that I have to make a plan to use to feel better. No, I just wake up and enjoy my day. I don't have good days all the time. I've got good and bad days, which is life, I guess. It's just how you deal with it. I guess that counts. So yeah, man, I just want to thank everybody, and thanks for letting me share.